All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to cut through all the noise. We're not talking about which coin is going to the moon. Nope. We're talking about something way more practical. What kind of crypto could an AI actually use to manage our daily lives? Let's figure out what that future could really look like.
I mean, just think about that for a second. Imagine a system that takes your paycheck, pays your rent, your car payment, your utility bills. It even does the grocery shopping and keeps you on budget. All of it just handled. So, what kind of tech would we even need to make that a reality? Well, to answer that, we have to forget the crazy price charts and the hype for a minute. We need to focus on one thing, and one thing only: utility. We're looking at this like an engineer. What are the actual tools an AI would need to do this job?
And right away, we hit our first and biggest hurdle. The reason so many people are skeptical about crypto's usefulness is that honestly, most of it just isn't designed for this kind of work. This number? This is a big deal. Different analyses point to a similar figure, but the general consensus is that a huge portion of the market, maybe as high as 90%, is basically useless for what we're talking about. It's a staggering number, and it really gets to the heart of the problem.
Yep, you heard that right. The vast majority of tokens out there are just speculative bets. They don't have the infrastructure, the real-world connections, or even a clear purpose beyond trading. They're just not built for the job of being a day-to-day workhorse. So we gotta look past all that.
So if we're throwing out 90% of crypto, what's so special about the other 10%? Well, they provide the actual infrastructure. To make it super simple, let's think of it as an automation toolkit. There are 3 essential tools our AI is going to need to manage your life.
Think of it like this. First, our AI needs a solid foundation to run on. Second, it needs a stable currency to actually spend. And third, it needs senses so it knows what's going on in the real world. Let's break down each one. All right, tool number 1, the foundation. These are smart contracts. You can just think of them as little computer programs that run on a blockchain. They're basically, if this happens, then do that agreements. They can't be changed. Platforms like Ethereum are the bedrock that makes all this automation possible. So, for example, you can code a smart contract that says, if my paycheck lands in my wallet, then automatically send money to my landlord, pay the power company, and renew my Netflix. And to make sure you're not paying a fortune in fees for all these little transactions, you'd use something called a layer 2, like Polygon, to keep costs super low. Okay, on to our second tool, the currency itself. I mean, you can't have your AI paying for groceries with a currency that might be worth 20% less an hour from now. That's just chaos. That's where stablecoins come in. They're pegged to something stable, like the US dollar, so a dollar is always worth, well, a dollar. Perfect for everyday stuff. And now for our third and maybe coolest tool, the senses. How does a smart contract, which lives entirely on the blockchain, know what the price of gas is, or how hot it is outside, or if your Amazon package got delivered? It uses something called an oracle. Services like Chainlink act as a secure bridge, feeding real-world data onto the blockchain. So here's the bottom line. Oracles give the AI eyes and ears. They provide all the real-time, verified data it needs. Electricity prices, grocery costs, you name it. This allows the AI to make genuinely smart decisions based on what's actually happening in the world. Okay, so we've got our 3 tools, right? Smart contracts for the brain, stablecoins for the money, and oracles for the senses. Now for the fun part. Let's see how they actually work together to put your life on autopilot. Picture this. Your smart fridge knows you're out of milk. It sends a signal to the smart contract. The AI checks your budget, sees you've got money for groceries, and automatically pays the supermarket with stablecoins. A drone delivers it an hour later. You literally never have to think about it. Or how about this one? An oracle feeds your electricity usage data to the AI. It notices you're using way more power than usual this month. Boom. You get an alert on your phone, not just saying your bill is high, but maybe even suggesting what's causing it. It's like having a personal finance manager watching your back 24/7. And what happens when life gets unpredictable? Let's say you had to drive a lot one month, so your gas spending went way up. Instead of blowing up your whole budget, the AI can see that, and it automatically pulls a little from your entertainment or eating out funds to cover it. Your long-term goals stay perfectly on track, all without you having to mess with a single spreadsheet. Now, this all sounds incredibly cool, and it is. But like with any powerful new technology, we have to be smart about it. We need to understand the potential, but also be really clear about the risks. So, this is a really important distinction to make. The technologies we've been talking about, Ethereum, Layer 2s, stablecoins, these are for operational use. They're the pipes and the wiring for automating daily life. This is completely different from an asset like Bitcoin, which most people see as a long-term store of value, kind of like digital gold. It's not built for thousands of tiny, fast transactions.
And let's be real here for a second. A lot of this stuff is still very new. It's still experimental. The tech is constantly changing, and the market is, famously volatile. So the takeaway here is simple. You have to stay educated, and you have to be careful. And let me be crystal clear about this. The whole point here was to show you a technical blueprint for how this could work. This is absolutely not investment advice. We're not saying one project is better than another. There are a ton of projects out there working on this stuff, so please always, always do your own research. So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. The technology to put our financial lives on autopilot, it's being built right now, piece by piece. So the question isn't just if it's going to happen, but how we're all going to prepare for it. Is your wallet ready for an AI? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.